Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, on behalf of the Police Memorial Trust, I would like to welcome you all here to Hamilton Square Gardens for the unveiling of a tribute memorial to Police Constable David Phillips. I would also like to welcome the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Theresa May, MP. Prime Minister, thank you very much for being with us here today. Chairman of the Police Memorial Trust, Mrs Geraldine Winner. Chief Constable of Merseyside Police, Andy Cook. The Mayor of Wirral Council, Councillor McLachlan, and her consort, Mr McLachlan. The MP for Birkenhead, the Right Honourable Mr Frank Field. The MP for Wallasey, the Right Honourable Ms Angela Eagle. The MP for Wirral South, the Right Honourable Ms Alison McGovern. Police and Crime Commissioner for Merseyside, Jane Kennedy. And to all the friends and colleagues of PC Phillips, together with their guests and the police organisations from the wider police family. But more importantly, we would very much like to welcome the family of PC Phillips in honouring the ultimate sacrifice David made while protecting the citizens of Birkenhead. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Police Memorial Trust, Mrs Geraldine Winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you in the place of my late husband Michael, and I am privileged to do so. PC David Phillips had many plans for the future, and I'm sure that some of those plans were running through his mind on the 5th of October 2015, except that PC Phillips didn't have a future. He was brutally run down and murdered whilst attempting to stop a stolen vehicle. It is heroic to work day after day, not knowing if it's a day you'll give people directions or a day that you'll be murdered. This country has always placed memorials up to those who die on our behalf in wars. Sailors, soldiers, airmen. However, there's another war that has no beginning and no end. That war is fought by the police. It's fought against terrorism, against those who'd attack us, against rapists, child molesters, burglars, evils of all kinds. The people fighting that war for us also die, and it's fought on ordinary streets up and down our land. This is the 42nd time the Police Memorial Trust has stood with the families of police officers killed on duty to remember their loss. Sadly, this is the first time we have had to visit Merseyside. It's absolutely right that the landscape of Merseyside and the Wirral should change just a little, and this memorial set in the gardens of this beautiful Georgian square is a fitting place for the citizens and visitors to remember PC Phillips for generations to come. His story has become part of the legend of Merseyside and the Wirral, rightly so. Together with the people from the local community who helped the emergency services on that fateful day, it's a national pastime to knock the police. You know, the man's driving along and he stopped for speeding. And in the pub afterwards he says, "Oh, it's unbelievable. The police have nothing better to do than stop me for speeding." Well, when you hear that, tell them about PC David Phillips. And when they say about they're never there when you need them, tell them about PC Phillips. The deeds of PC Phillips are an enduring legacy of the sort of people this country relies on. And there are thousands more policemen and women, no less heroic. They know, but for a twist of fate, it could be them one fateful day when their life ends. It does not deter them, so what we are here to say to PC Phillips and to all other police officers throughout the land are just two words that come from the heart. Thank you. PC Phillips will not be forgotten. The Police Memorial Trust will not allow the public to forget. That is the reason why we are here today. Thank you. It's my pleasure to present the Chief Constable.
Constable 6554, Dave Phillips, was a local boy. He joined his local force to serve his local community. He did this with great dedication, humility and courage. Serving the communities of the Wirral, and tragically, he paid the ultimate sacrifice. In the words of my predecessor, Sir John Murphy, who read the eulogy at Dave's funeral, Dave epitomised what the public want their police to be: caring, compassionate and resolute. He was professional, dedicated, a leader and a role model. When things got difficult, Dave was the go-to person, everything he would want a Bobby to be. I wholeheartedly concur with those sentiments. Dave was a gentleman and a solid, hard-working police officer, a role model for every Merseyside police officer. The events that led to the violent murder of Dave in the early hours of the 5th of October 2015 were unthinkable. Dave was on a night shift with his block, his colleagues and friends. Having said goodbye to his wife Jen and two beautiful daughters, Sophie and Abigail, he went to work to do a job that he loved. No one would expect that he wouldn't return home. He was just doing his job. He attempted to stop criminals dangerously driving a stolen vehicle. He put himself in the face of danger to protect the communities that he served. A true professional and a hero in all our eyes. The impact of Dave's death could never have been anticipated. Hundreds of officers and our wider police family joined Dave's family and friends in a funeral procession. Police uniforms could be seen from Liverpool's Anglican Cathedral down to the city, as far as the eye could see. It was an awesome and inspiring sight. But it was much more than a show of strength. It was a show of solidarity, compassion and love. An overwhelming reminder of what we mean to each other as a police family. Standing side by side, representing all that is good. Every row and every seat was filled in the cathedral, wrapping our love and support around Dave's family, as we feel we are Dave's family too. The wider support and volume of condolence messages from our partners, members of the public and colleagues from around the globe was absolutely outstanding. Dave represented everything that the people want from their police service, and all that is good, and good will always prevail. It was also a fitting tribute that Dave was awarded the Freedom of the Borough last year, a title I'm sure he would have been incredibly proud to have been bestowed. Friends and colleagues have channeled their grief and worked extremely hard to help create this wonderful memorial by raising money through charity runs and walks for the Memorial Fund. It's been inspiring to watch the tremendous positivity that has come from such a tragic event. Dave was a man that we were all proud of at Merseyside Police. He was one of us, and he was one of our finest. This memorial serves as a reminder and a focus that good will always prevail and conquer evil. Despite Dave paying the ultimate sacrifice, his legacy of being the ultimate professional officer who was committed to keep the communities of the Wirral safe lives on. Rest in peace, Constable 6554, David Andrew Victor Phillips. You will always be remembered, not only here at this memorial, but in the hearts of all your police family.
Prime Minister Theresa May.
Geraldine, thank you. We are here today to remember the extraordinary bravery and sacrifice of PC Dave Phillips. As we've heard so movingly from Chief Constable Andy Cook, PC Phillips epitomised the very best of everything that we treasure in our policemen and women. Compassion, professionalism, that overwhelming ethos of service, and the extraordinary selflessness that meant day in and day out, he saw it as his duty to risk his life for the safety of his community. It was that duty and those remarkable qualities that led PC Phillips to take on the criminal driving a stolen vehicle on that fateful night in October 2015. And it was that duty and those remarkable qualities that led him to make the ultimate sacrifice. First as Home Secretary and now as Prime Minister, I've dreaded the moments when the news comes through to me that one of our policemen or women has been killed in the line of duty. But that pales into insignificance when compared with the devastating loss suffered by a family. In this case, his wife Jen, 2 daughters Abigail and Sophie, his parents Robin and Carol, his sisters Hannah and Kate. As we gather here today in remembrance, we mourn the cruel loss of a young, loving husband, father, son, brother, colleague and friend. But as we remember, it is also right to share an overwhelming sense of pride in everything that PC Phillips was and everything that he stood for. And as we remember the courage of one extraordinary police officer, so we can also recognise the courage of officers in every community across our country. A number of you are here today as former colleagues of PC Phillips. Like him, I know you will say that you just do your job, do your duty, do what you're trained to do. But you do things that the rest of us could never do. In the face of danger, you run towards it, while often helping others to run away. And I've heard the incredible stories time and time again. It is the most humbling part of my job, and I was honoured that my first event as Prime Minister in Downing Street was the Police Bravery Awards last year. For it is your duty to make sacrifices for us. It is our duty to recognise you. And I think of the extraordinary response to the terrorist attacks we've seen in London and Manchester this year, including the British Transport Police officer who went into the terrorist attack in London Bridge with just his baton. I think of the off-duty officer who, seeing someone in danger, ran in to help without a second thought. I think of the unarmed officers who chased down and rugby tackled that despicable gun and knife-wielding murderer who killed the MP, Joe Cox. And yes, I think of the PC who took on that criminal driving a stolen vehicle in Wallasey. PC Dave Phillips, who made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of this community. On behalf of the whole country, I want to pay tribute to Geraldine Winner, her late husband, and everyone involved in the Police Memorial Trust for the tireless and inspirational work you have done to create memorials to 42 policemen and women who've died in the service of our country. And I want to thank everyone who's played their part in creating this memorial today and who's helped with the brilliant fundraising that has been done in PC Phillips' memory. Long after we are all gone, people will come to this place and stop to think about the service of our policemen and women. They will come to this place and stop to learn about what PC Phillips gave in the service of this community. They will come to this place and stop to remember a local boy who became a national hero. May he rest in peace, and may his memory continue to inspire us for generations to come.
Thank you, Prime Minister. After After the unveiling of the memorial, the Prime Minister will lay flowers, followed by Mrs. Michael Winner and the Chief Constable, followed by the immediate family of PC Phillips. Once this is completed and everyone has returned to their places, please all remain standing. Flowers will then be laid at the memorial by the Mayor of Wirral Council, Councillor McLachlan, on behalf of the citizens of Birkenhead, Mr. Frank Field MP on behalf of the constituents of Birkenhead, Ms. Angela Eagle MP on behalf of the constituents of Wallasey, Ms. Alison McGovern MP on behalf of the constituents of Wirral South, Ms. Jane Kennedy on behalf of Merseyside and the Wirral citizens, PC Graham Gibbons on behalf of Jeremy Corbyn, leader of Her Majesty's official opposition, and Sergeant Pete Singleton on behalf of Merseyside Police. Let us stand for a moment of reflection, each in our own manner, for PC Phillips, for his family, and for all the policemen and women killed and wounded throughout the land. Thank you.
The ceremony is now over. I invite all the other guests to come forward to lay flowers. Thank you.